Good morning. My name is Tim Williams. We're here to break down today's early MLB DraftKings slate. We got a 6-game slate here to talk about. If you're new to the channel, my name is Tim. We've been breaking down these MLB slates daily. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. Some of these games are kind of a repeat from yesterday. A couple games got postponed due to weather. So first game we have here is the Blue Jays and the Royals. 9 over under, no clear favorite here. Matt's taking on Minor again. Matt's at 9,300. The price is kind of high. He's pitched very well. I actually don't mind him at this price. It's going to be kind of a colder weather game. Maybe it's going to be tough for the bats to get going. Wind might be blowing in here. So keep an eye out for that. And then Minor at 6'9". I don't necessarily think he's a bad pitcher, but the Blue Jays are just too talented on offense. Minor, I think, needs to just correct some things before I can really trust him, especially in this matchup, even at home. But the Blue Jays, 12th overall in average, 15th in on-base percentage. These guys can hit for power. They can steal. They're sneaky. They're definitely priced up for it too. So Bichette at 5.5, Semien at 5K, some top options there. Vladimir Guerrero at 5.1, swinging the bat very well. I think it starts with those three, and then you can go on to other guys. And then on the Royals side, not a whole ton I really love here. They can hit the ball, 10th in average, 14th in on-base percentage. The guy I really love would be, paying up at the catcher spot, maybe Sal Perez here, or Benintendi if you're paying down in the outfield at 3.2K. I think a lot of players on the slate have actually been priced down a little bit, and we'll talk about that as we get into the other games. So I don't think there's really any reason to get to a lot of these Royals players. Next game we have here is the Braves at the Cubs. The Braves are favorited here, 8.5 over under. Yanoa going against Williams. As far as the pitching matchup goes, I love Yanoa in this spot. I feel like 6.8K is actually really cheap. He's turned in a couple good starts already. His last one, he was hitting 99 on the gun. His control looked there. The Cubs are very, very poor to start the season on offense, 30th in average, 30th in on-base percentage, 18th in home runs. They're striking out a lot. So I think I might look at some of the value pitchers on this slate, and it starts with him. Braves offensively, they're really starting to click. They're really starting to get things going here. They're climbing up the home run ladder. They're second overall in the league right now. And it starts with Acuna. There's no hotter hitter on the planet than Acuna right now. 5.8K is way too cheap. I don't see how you could play today's slate without having him in your lineup. That's how good he is. Freeman at 5.3, Ozuna at 4.2. Starts with those three before we get into any value there. And then on the Cubs side, don't really care for Williams at this price. The Braves have been red hot. Not the most ideal weather environment at Wrigley today. So there might not be as many home runs, if any, but as you see, I wanted to list a lot of the Cubs batters here, and they're all under 5K. Rizzo at 4.1 seems way too cheap. I feel like DraftKings is starting to realize that, just to kind of get a competitive advantage, or they want you to kind of buy into these Cubs bats. They are really cheap. However, they've been really, really terrible so far. So I don't think I'm going to go there just yet. Next game here, we have the Cardinals and the Phillies. Cardinals, slight favorites here, 8.5 over under. I don't love this pitching matchup here. I think this ends up maybe being the highest scoring game here. You have Kim coming off the IL today, 7,600. No, thank you. Matt Moore at 7K. Don't really love that either. So I think the ball is just going to be knocked around a lot. And this one for Kim, I feel like guys coming off the IL, I like to attack. So I actually do like the Phillies bats here. I also like the Cardinals bats here too. Starting with the Cardinals, Arenado at the top, 5.1K. I think that's a reasonable spend up here. Very, very solid numbers against Matt Moore. Goldschmidt at 4.9. DeJong at 4.1, and then even Molina at 4K is a decent option if you have a little extra salary and you're not totally paying up at catcher. But and then on the Phillies side, Harper clearly the spend up here at 5K. The Phillies looked awesome yesterday. Just the whole lineup just churning in base hits and RBIs. They just looked really good, and I think that continues today. Hoskins at 4.4K. I mean, for some reason these prices went down. McCutchen at 4.3. Bohm at 4.36. McCutchen at 3.6. Sorry. Just solid options overall on this side. I think there's going to be a lot of spread out ownership in this one because the prices are so low. And if you're not really paying up at pitchers, you definitely have a lot of options here. Next, you have the White Sox Red Sox in Boston. No rain today, a little gloomy, a little cooler out. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of home runs in this one, but 9 over under might suggest otherwise. Dylan Cease going against Pivetta. Don't love the pitching matchup here. I actually prefer Pivetta at home. The price is right. He's pitched okay. I think he only goes like 5 or 6 innings. And then Dylan Cease, I kind of like to attack him because he has the ability to walk a lot of guys. So that makes a lot of Red Sox hitters in play. And even the bottom of the order for the Red Sox really, really interests me. Those guys can just it's flat out hit. Second in average, 5th in on base percentage, 11th in home runs. They don't strike out a lot. The Red Sox can hit the baseball. On the White Sox side, you have Abreu at 5.5K. I think that's a nice spend up. Robert's way too cheap. Even a few days ago, it feels like he was 5.5K. Right now, he's coming in at 4.5K. Love that price. Moncada, maybe a little revenge narrative here at 4.3K. So there's definitely some good options in that game. Next, we have the Tigers and the A's, 9 over under here. A's at home, A's favorited. Probably the only game that's going to see some sunshine. Casey Mize going against Irvin. Mize has actually been pitching very well. He shut down the Astros last time out. 6.7K, I think, is very reasonable. He actually looked pretty decent, and I'm not afraid of the A's bats at all. They're actually second in strikeouts against right-handed pitching, so I kind of love that matchup here. You could pair Mize with like a Yanoa or something like that, and it gives you plenty of room to pay up for bats. Tigers and A's are kind of very similar as far as offense, average on base percentage, very, very similar. The main difference between these two teams is, Tigers are second in home runs. A's are 16th in home runs. This is not a very home run friendly park, but the weather is kind of nice. Tiger side, I think, you could fit in 1 or 2 maybe bats just to get a little bit different. Goodrum, Ramos, Shope, I think all pretty good against left-handed pitching. So I think if you just pick one of those, it'll separate you in GPP play style formats. And then the A side, all priced very reasonably. Canna at 3.9, Olsen 4.2, Lowry's hitting out of his mind at 4.3. Chapman hit a home run yesterday, 4.4K. The prices are decent here, but don't be fooled. These guys are not very good against right-handed pitching. Talking about bullpens, both of these bullpens stink, so there might be a lot of runs scored in this game. Last but not least, we have the Indians and the Reds. 8 over under here. Reds at home. Sonny Gray making his debut coming off the IL. Speaking of IL, I don't know if I really would trust Gray in this position. The Indians aren't very good at hitting, but they can hit for home runs. So if Gray just throws one over the plate, it could be gone, especially in that park. McKenzie, young pitcher, 8.6K. I don't think I would pay that price. The Reds are one of the best offenses in the league. We'll start with the Indians. Indians, like I mentioned, 6th in home runs. Jose Ramirez at 4.8K. His price goes down a little bit, so I think he's a great option. Rosario at 4.1. That price comes down a little bit. And then Jimenez, 3.6K, decent punt option here. Has good numbers against right-handed pitching. And then on the Red side, these guys are just on fire. So I could see you going with the mini stack here. Castellanos, 5.1K, went low owned yesterday, crushed. Suarez, 4.9K. Votto, 4.3. Better against lefties, but he's swinging the bat pretty good. And then Winker leading things off at 4.2K, I think, is a solid option. Reds are 1st in home runs, 3rd in average, 4th in on base percentage. They don't strike out a ton. There's a lot I trust in this matchup for them. That's it. My name's Tim. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you did, like this video, really appreciate it. It helps me out a ton. Subscribe to the channel. Don't miss out on any baseball content, any DFS content, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.